Just go live thing here.
All right, we do. You just hit live. We're live right now, baby. We're live right now.
No.
We'll show people how the sausage is made. So you have your that link set up.
I have it in my copy.
Okay. You have it like on a tab, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So just hit the present on the bottom.
Okay, I was around there, but I couldn't find what's
next. Hit present. Now hit screen share.
Oh, okay. Dang it. All right.
Okay. And now share that tab with the link with the draft board. Thanks to everyone for watching us. They could see how, like I said, they love the behind the scenes, Mario.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody loves.
There we go. We're off and running, baby.
Polished production.
Mario, you see on the top left of the board, there's that little stretch out thing next to the position tabs. That little blue arrow. On the top left or top right, not where the clock is. Click that. There you go. Now
okay,
you're rocking, baby. Yeah, now people can watch your draft.
Awesome.
What number are you picking?
I'm at the 10th pick, so yeah, it's fine. Got a couple picks in already, a few picks in, I should say. We're at the 4th pick now. I'm at 10, so I was worried that I would time myself out there while trying to bother Alan to help me figure out.
Are you comfortable? You're good, Mario? I can leave you be?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks a lot, Alan. Thanks so much, John.
Just remember, don't shame RotoWire and make sure you win this draft.
I really would like to check both of those boxes, yeah.
All right, man. Good luck. I'll be watching.
Later on.
All right, bye.
Hey, guys. Wow, 105 people already. Anyone just checking in? I'm about 5 picks away. I took the 10th spot. I put that 3rd in my KDS rankings, and no big plan there. I just I knew the 3rd round reversal can bite a little bit, and some of those running backs that I'm kind of inclined to take tend to go around that late 1st, early 2nd round range, and I hoped going into the 3rd this could give me some amount of flexibility. Let's see. So coming up, Jefferson would have been nice, but man, receivers going later than I'm used to picking in best ball leagues. So I gotta maybe think about moving up my running backs, which of course sounds good to me. I'm always looking for a reason to do that. Up in 1 pick, Team 9 just took AJ Brown, leaving Puka Nacua, Garrett Wilson as the top 2 receivers, Gibbs and Taylor as the top running backs. I think I got to go running back, receiver, at least one receiver in these first 2 picks, and it's I've been talking a lot of hype for Garrett Wilson. I think Puka Nacua in some ways is the safer pick, maybe even the higher ceiling pick as well. But I've been putting a lot of hype on Wilson, so I should probably follow up on that and prove my faith by taking him here at 10. Probably going to be targeting a running back at the 15th pick. Bear with me just a second as I try to find, let's see. All right, that's all running good then. So Puka just went. I almost took him. Maybe I should have. But at Team 10 there, I'm hoping to probably get one of Gibbs or Taylor if they make their way back. Saquon, that works for me, going before my pick. 12 and 11 here. Let's see what we got. Thanks a lot for anyone tuning in. Of course, you might be able to tell that I have not done this before, and I'm probably going to do some number of more annoying than usual things as I try to keep my footing here. Drake London, the first pick in the 2nd round to Team 12, and I'll get at least one of those running backs. Is someone going to take Team 11? Don't take Taylor, please. Don't do that. I should probably just take Gibbs, even if he's the leftover. So I'm going to get a running back here, not Kyron Williams, obviously. Going to get in 30 seconds or so. We might find out. But so the 3rd round reversal, like I was saying, I didn't want to get bit too badly by that, and I don't feel so strongly at about the players at the top of the board that I felt the need to get any of them. And playing it a little risk averse here, maybe. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jonathan Taylor. I guess I do that every year that I realistically get the chance. So I'm not trying to be contrarian by leaving Gibbs on the board. I love Gibbs quite a bit, and certainly in full point PPR scoring like this NFFC format, Gibbs is pretty much gold. But like the Wilson pick, I've been, of course, putting a lot of hype on Taylor, and I should probably again demonstrate my faith there. But I do think Taylor is a really good candidate to, I don't know, be the running back one, lead the league in rushing yardage. Like, I think Taylor is a pretty good candidate to run for over 2,000 yards this year. And I understand why those really great pass catcher guys like Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson go so far ahead of Taylor. Taylor's not going to catch more than maybe 40, 50 passes or whatever. But, if he goes totally nuts on the ground, then I think at the 15th pick here, 15th pick, Taylor will be more than good enough as long as he, stays healthy. So the Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor start for me, and another pick coming up in 8 spots for the third round at the beginning of the reversed third round. And that pick, I have no idea what I'm going to do, actually. So going to probably need to see the next few before I have my choices narrowed down for me. Travis Etienne, 7th pick in the second round. And this, anyone who's watched or listened to me and John on the RotoWire Fantasy Football podcast, we're kind of a Travis Etienne, hype train kind of podcast for the past couple of years. But I got to say, I don't know if I have the faith in, certainly not Press Taylor and the Jags coaches to make Etienne pay off in the second, although I'd love to be wrong because I do think Etienne is the man. I think he's been held back unfairly. So 2 running backs in the last 3, Etienne, Achane. I don't know about Achane in season long. The redraft, he's gonna have a little bit of an up and down nature, I fear. And in best ball, any dud weeks he has, he goes to the bench. But you can't leave him on the bench season long. He'll get that 40-point game if you do, but there's probably going to be some 4 or 5 point weeks in there just because awesome as Achane is, he just is not built to be getting the workloads that these other guys at running back go in these first 2 rounds. So another one of my favorites, Nico Collins, he's off the board. So I was hoping maybe he'd be among my options at this 27th overall pick that I'm waiting to get back up here for. But no Nico anymore. And let's see. Just to clarify, spoiler, I'm also not going to take Kyron Williams in the 3rd round. So he might be there, and I'm just too much of a hater. I'm not going to take him. Jalen Waddle off the board. So the receivers are thinning out quickly. I'm glad I got Garrett Wilson, but I sure would like to have some more there. Who knows what's going on with Brandon Ayuk? Oh, there he goes. So that's Brandon Ayuk, first pick in the 3rd round. I'm 1 pick away from my 3rd round selection. And I'm up now. Last pick was Mike Evans. I wasn't looking at either of those guys. This is a tough one for me. I've been putting a lot of hype on Josh Jacobs, and I certainly do believe in it. And I kind of wish I could, make a show of faith by taking him here. But I am a lot higher on DJ Moore. Like DJ Moore is probably something like a top 15, top 18 player to me this year. So I'll be taking him now. And so my first 2 receivers are Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. And I got a bit of a wait now. Going to be waiting on that 4th round. So not until the 46th selection will I be back up. So what am I going to do for all this time now? I guess what kind of hot takes do we got about some of these players? Oh, Derrick Henry just went after me, so that's I would have liked to have him on the board when I was back up because I'm definitely still a believer in Derrick Henry. Deebo Samuel next off the board. That team 8 has pretty loaded receiver group. Justin Jefferson at 8. Probably a little late for I if I could switch my whole KDS thing to getting that 8th pick and the assurance that Jefferson would have been there, That would have been nice at the 8th pick. I'm not too worried about Jefferson. I mean, he put up big numbers with Nick Mullins. So Sam Darnold's better than that. It shouldn't be a high bar to clear there. DK Metcalf after Deebo Samuel. So, yeah, I like getting DJ Moore where I did. I understand that I kind of reached a little bit for Wilson and maybe Taylor, but DJ Moore where I got him, I like that one a lot. I'm not really sure why DJ Moore is going so late nowadays, but I think he will prove to be a nice bargain for those buying him at this moment. So waiting on Team 6 here at 31. They took Devontae Smith. And the receivers are officially getting a bit thin now. Let's see. I probably will not be the person taking Malik Neighbors. I'm granted, I like him a little bit in PPR because he could catch like 90 passes this year. It's just going to be I think in Neighbors' case, the 2024 season is going to look a lot like Garrett Wilson's did with Tim Boyle and all those jokers throwing the passes. To be fair to Daniel Jones, he is better than Tim Boyle. I got to give him that much, but not inspired anyway. Team 5 making Laporta the first tight end. Team 4 making Josh Allen the first quarterback at the 32nd and 33rd selections. So I don't mind that. I'm not really planning on taking a quarterback or tight end too early in here. Though we'll see. If I hate all the running backs and receivers, I'm more likely to consider something like a quarterback or tight end early. But yeah, especially with these early NFFC kind of drafts, it might be worth putting more of certainly your bench aside for running backs than a draft later on in training camp injuries. Definitely an unfortunate reality that comes down every year. And it might not be smart to go into a draft or a week 1 in some league with like 9 running backs on your roster. But right now, something goofy like that might be worth it just so you don't have to pay, the big fab that if, God forbid, some running back were to miss some amount of time and the backup, that the nobody backups who step in for injured stars who go for 90% of fab, that guy might be on your bench if you set aside more bench space than usual for an early for running backs specifically in an early draft like this. Maybe even going a little thin at receiver to get it done bench wise. So Patrick Mahomes went right after Josh Allen, and we're waiting to see what the 35th selection is. CeeDee Lamb and Waddle are on the roster already for Team 2. And they go quarterback as well. So 3 quarterbacks in a row. Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. No obvious pairing interests lined up here yet, but Team 3 there. Travis Kelce just went to Team 1, so Team 3 will not be getting Travis Kelce. And Team 2, they're taking Isaiah Pacheco. I do like Isaiah Pacheco quite a bit. Oh my God. All right. I'm just going to quit now. They took Josh Jacobs. I guess I was getting greedy thinking I might get him in the late 4th, but in this crazy era where Jacobs falls to the 5th round all the time, I thought I'd have a shot. Oh, well, good pick by Team 3. Jacobs is going way too late nowadays. George Pickens, 4th pick in the 4th to Team 4. And I do like George Pickens, not quite as much in full point PPR, but he will get touchdowns this year, I think. Maybe like 10, 12, maybe even more than that. So if he does that, if he gets those touchdowns, he should pay off right here for Team 4, who has a lot of firepower at running back. That's a lot of 60, 70 point weekly upside there. With NFFC being a 6-point passing touchdown league, I definitely see the appeal of CJ Stroud going in the 4th round here to Team 6. I actually really like Stroud to lead the league in touchdown passes. So again, no pairing there. Stroud's not going to the Nico or Stephon Diggs team. Lamar Jackson right after Stroud. So I'm a big Lamar fan, but I think in NFFC scoring this is a little earlier than I'd like to take him. But good karma for anyone who takes Lamar. Lamar's a man. there goes Neighbors. So Team 7 takes Neighbors in the 4th round, halfway through. That will be their wide receiver 4. Team 8 was on to my lies. They knew I was going to actually take Kyron Williams, and they sniped me there. But I'm up in 2 picks now, so I got to figure out what it is I'm going to do exactly. So there's some running back options here. If Jacobs can go in the early 4th, I might want to think about targeting a usage hog like Joe Mixon here. But since I got Taylor, maybe I should go more at the other areas here. Not spend too much at running back too early in the off season. Trey McBride, I definitely believe in him. So let's see. I'm up. Mark Andrews just went, which gives me even more reason to consider a guy like Trey McBride, who really looked like a monster last year, and he really should be able to keep it going, even with Marvin Harrison around. But what am I looking? I think I'm going to go receiver here, or I'm going to look at Zay Flowers and Tank Dell. I really am not a huge fan of Flowers, but he already caught 77 passes last year. He had a touchdown that was called back on a crap holding call. So also his buys don't overlap with Wilson or Moore. So kind of stings a little for my brand, but I am going to take Zay Flowers here as my 3rd receiver. And, hopefully if he proves me more wrong yet, then make $5 or something, maybe. Let's see. Team 11, they're up after me. They already have 3 receivers, so maybe the crazy fellow will go receiver again, but I don't know. He might be thinking McBride or running back. I don't know. But yeah, I can't tell what my plan should be at tight end. I kind of like not thinking about it that much, but you don't want to go into the year with Brock Bowers as your tight end 1 exactly. So even though it might work, if Trey McBride makes it back here, maybe I should take him. Needless to say, I would prefer that I just already know who I want, have some conviction about the picks, but these are sharp drafts. It's pretty tough to feel like you nailed it. It's usually going to be too tough of a room for that. But Rashad White and Christian Kirk were the 2 picks after I took Zay Flowers. And both teams 11 and 12 have 1. There goes Kincaid. So now or never. If I'm to take McBride, Team 11 might take him yet. What am I going to do if not McBride? Tank Dell. I'm trying to get a sense for what running backs might be here at my next pick, and I can't really do it. I can't get a reliable sense. So, man. All right, it's early in the off season. I probably should get my roster a little less fragile if possible. And what's the best way to do that? No, let's see. I would take Mixon. Maybe I should just take Mixon. Already got Taylor with the week 14 bye. All right, I'm gonna take McBride. Hopefully it's worth it. I was so indifferent about the running back and receiver options. So sorry for dawdling there, everyone. I really was trying to think best as I could, and that's just how fast it goes. But yeah, the roster now is 1 running back, 3 receivers, 1 tight end. The brand pick Taylor at running back, Wilson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers, and McBride at tight end, who I honestly, the Flowers and the McBride picks both I'm kind of uninspired by, but in this PPR scoring, there's something to be said for those kinds of guys who can push for 6 catches a week, and I think Flowers and McBride are both that. And as much as I still am a total truther for Kyle Pitts. I absolutely believe in Kyle Pitts. I will make every excuse necessary for Kyle Pitts, but he probably works a little better in like half point or standard leagues than in full point PPR, because Pitts is not really like the kind of tight end who loiters in the flats and piles up those, Evan Ingram targets from last year. That's not his game. So Kirk Cousins getting there should hopefully make Pitts, put Pitts in the position to make big plays downfield, lots of yards, hopefully some touchdowns finally. But I don't expect Pitts to catch more than, I don't know, maybe he can get to like 90 catches. But if he did, hell, if he caught 90 passes, I'd probably wish I just took him over McBride. But yeah, tough spots in these drafts. You'll be in this position where over and over you feel like you were just a little bit late for the value, and it's not really true. It's just that there's going to be a lot of good picks, and it's not easy to get away with things. So Mixon going after James Cook is a steal for Team 7. No offense to Team 8, but they did take my enemy list at running back with Kyren Williams and James Cook. They're both fine on here. I mean, James Cook is a really good pass catcher in full point PPR. He will catch his passes, get you their points, but I really think Mixon could catch 50, 60 passes with the Texans. And even though Mixon's not explosive, he's kind of a plodding, volume-dependent runner. It's not as if they're going to bench him for Jawar Jordan or Dario Gumbo-Wale. So, PPR scoring suits Mixon, and he should get a lot of touchdown opportunities in that Texans offense. So, yeah, the main case against taking Jonathan Taylor right now is that it's harder to take Mixon at the same time too, and Mixon's a really good value. But I forgot about that because I always normally just take Taylor and Josh Jacobs before Team 3 took Jacobs. Wisely took Jacobs at the top of round 4. So Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, 2 more running backs. I was hoping Marquise Brown at receiver would make it back to my next pick, but clearly that was foolish. And I also liked Jaden Reed quite a bit, so that it stings that he won't be a potential option for me. Don't mind too much about Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen going off. Both really good players. I think McLaurin's really, really good, but I have no faith in Cliff Kingsbury, etc. So there goes Kyle Pitts, the second pick in the 6th round to Team 2. And Team 3 has 2 running backs and receivers both. We'll see where they go with that here. Calvin Ridley, no longer shackled by Press Taylor, but now he has to chase those Will Levis, those shot puts. But I don't know, it might work. Titans do have quite a bit of upgraded personnel relative to the last couple of years. So as much as I don't believe in Callahan, as much as I don't believe in Levis, the rule still applies. Quarterbacks don't matter. So you know how that is. Will Levis might be no good, but if Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins, etc., those running backs are Pollard and Sharp, they're both going to take some screens. They're going to add some yards after the catch. So maybe there's a way they can make it work. And there goes Hopkins, 2 picks after Ridley with Christian Watson in between. I got to say, all these guys are probably going to beat me, but the Christian Watson pick by Team 4, that's one of my landmine picks, I think, because Christian Watson, I know that he's a really good big play threat. He's got some jump ball ability. He'll have his big plays, but in full point PPR, I just don't know if that's his game. I don't think he's going to catch more than 50, 60 passes this year in that rotation. Tank Dell going this late. I'm kind of stupid for a lot of reasons, but among them, I nearly took Dell back at the end of the 4th round. So at the very least, that would have been a reach on my part, but I think it's more so a steal for Team 6 there to get Dell. Rashee Rice goes off the board. I was kind of hoping I might get him. Definitely expect Rice to get suspended, but maybe only like 4 or 5 games. That wouldn't be so bad, right? Maybe I got to think about quarterback. not for stacking purposes. Although I do like Kyler Murray. It's just maybe so I'm up now. I got Trey McBride already. Teams 11 and 12 do not have any quarterback picks. People are understandably creeped out by Joe Burrow's sort of non-update. Let's see. Oh, man. I hate to say this, but I might need to seriously consider the extremely off-brand pick of Deontay Johnson. God, can't believe it. He should get a lot of targets, though, and, man, in this full-point PPR, that could really be a good wide receiver 4 to have, but I'm going to go more back to my own brand and take James Conner here. So he's probably going to miss time. I realize that, but he almost certainly will, I should say. But he does have the ability to give you, the 20 carries and the 5 catches. So hopefully he can get me a good distance before I start reaching into the handcuff bin. I'm so indifferent about the some of the receivers left. It's like I can't tell if I was just talking myself into Deontay there, if he's actually a good value. He's probably a good value. Whoever takes him is going to get a good pick, but I need the running back depth, and I don't want to get totally left in the cold at quarterback. It's not so much that I'm you know what? I think I might have to take Dak here if he makes it 2 more picks, because the 6-point passing touchdown detail. I mean, Dak the last 3 years has been right at a 30 touch. Oh, there goes Dak. So good pick by the first pick of the 7th round. Aaron Jones goes after him. I'm back on the clock. No Dak option for me. It looks like I might need to take Kyler here if I'm going to take Kyler. Maybe I should. I don't know how bad I might get bit if I wait for the next round to come back to me. All right. I'm going with the Cardinals stack for some reason. Here we go. Taking Kyler Murray. And I don't know. Hopefully this is a decent enough foundation. It's not a super team by any stretch, but I'd like to think players like Connor at running back 2, players like Zay Flowers at wide receiver 3. Hopefully that kind of checks the boxes there for what I need those picks to get me. But yeah, I gotta admit, I don't feel like I really have a clear plan here. So certain picks that catch you off guard and make you adjust, but not many teams need a quarterback yet. There's just team 9, 8, and 1. So they can probably wait a while. I'm not planning on taking a quarterback anytime. So team 11 also doesn't have a quarterback. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to be taking another quarterback anytime soon. I might not take another one because, like I said, probably want to just spam the bench spots with backup from scrimmage players, but especially running back. So, yeah, and God knows with Connor and even Taylor, he's had his ankle troubles too, but Connor, especially with him at running back, I pretty much know I'm going to need a different running back too for at least a few weeks this year and maybe upwards of a month or more, though I'd love that to not be the case. Jaylen Warren goes, let's see, 7th pick, round 7. DeAndre Swift going after Jaylen Warren is kind of bonkers to me, certainly floor-wise. I mean, DeAndre Swift is not going to rotate that much. He's going to play like 40 snaps a game for the Bears. So Jaylen Warren, admittedly, he could get like 20 carries a game and 5 or 6 catches a game if Najee Harris was to miss any time. But Deontay Johnson, probably a really nice pick there for team 3, 3rd to last pick in the 7th round. But yeah, I mean, if Najee Harris stays healthy, he's going to get like, I don't know, he's going to probably something like 80 fewer carries than Swift, something like that. And Swift might match him probably won't match him for receptions, but might come pretty close. But team 2 here, they might be looking running back. Who knows? Wow, 355 people. That's great. So, oh yeah, you guys might have noticed it got dark while this was going on, and I don't actually have a light in this room, so that's why you're just getting the light from the computer right now. It's pretty grim. Sorry about that. But anytime I do the podcast with John, I'm dependent on the sunlight here to light the room, and this is where we are now. So I'll try to. Oh God, that doesn't help. This is scary. All right. Not trying to make a horror movie, Blair Witch Project draft here, but this is just kind of the best I can do. So Joe Burrow finally goes off the board. Last pick in the 7th round. There goes Najee Harris going about a half a round later than Jaylen Warren, which doesn't actually make sense in my opinion, because if Jaylen Warren were to miss time, then Najee Harris might go back to catching passes like he did his rookie year, whenever he caught 60 passes or whatever it was. So those guys should go like back to back, and I don't know. I'd probably take the starter. But now we're waiting on let's see. So Austin Eckler went before Burrow, so team 2 has Eckler as their running back 2. Will be an interesting experiment in Washington. Believe it or not, I still believe in Eckler, but I don't know, just not Washington. No one but Chris Rodriguez do I believe in, and Ben Sinnott, I guess. Those are my 2 Washington guys this year. Cortland Sutton goes. Going back to my George Pickens hype earlier, it might turn out badly if Cortland Sutton were to get traded to the Steelers. That would definitely harm Pickens' touchdown share. And at the moment, I'm kind of banking on Pickens catching like 12, 13 touchdowns. So Cortland Sutton, obviously a whole lot better than Van Jefferson, Roman Wilson, whatever else they got laying around right now in Pittsburgh. And that would hurt George Pickens' target share, and would maybe turn out to be, maybe, I don't know, maybe it'd be a boost for Sutton to go from Denver to Pittsburgh, but we'll see. Tony Pollard, Tony Pollard and Javonte Williams, 2 guys that I was in the past constantly pushing back against for the hype, and now here I am now in 2024 saying they're both great values because they're both post hype. But yeah, the Pollard falling to the 8th, 9th round, not really sure what sense that makes going later than guys like Jaylen Warren or even Austin Eckler. I mean, hell, or even Najee Harris. Yeah, the Titans are going to need both of those little running backs this year. They're both going to play. All right, I'm up in 2 picks. Jonathan Brooks, who this is not a bad place to take him. He can be on the bench for the first month, finish strong there, but I probably wasn't going to be the person picking him. Yeah, it's at running back, maybe like Zach Moss is the top guy left. Mostert, I guess you could argue. All right, so Spears went next, and I'm on the clock again. No real idea what I'm doing, of course, but I might need to think about going receiver just because they look liable to thin out pretty quick here. Oh, God, I hate not knowing who I want to pick. Every time, too, so far today. Don't really want the Bears stack. Pairing, I should say. This is awful. All right. I'm going to take Zach Moss here. And I don't have like I took Rome Odunze, my bad. I was thinking about taking Odunze, so maybe that'll work out fine. Whoever's up next can take Moss, and I'll take Mostert or something. I gotta remember, you can't, clicking on the star doesn't do it. You gotta actually click on the gotta watch who's in the box there. So Smith and Jigba went after I took Odunze, and yeah, the wide receiver market's getting a little tough there. Not a bad time to take Smith and Jigba, though. Playing in PPR definitely helps him. But what else here? Yeah, the wide receiver selections become pretty uninspired from this point. Interesting that Xavier Worthy is still on the board. I still have no substantial interest. I don't know. Maybe I should take him, but uh, I'm not convinced that Worthy's going to catch more than like 40, 50 passes this year. So we'll see. Gus Edwards, last pick of the 8th round to Team 12. Definitely still a Gus Edwards truther here, but I don't know. In PPR, really needs those touchdowns. He very well might get them. I do love Gus. I certainly hope he does. But all right, Jordan Love goes to Team 11. Let's see if I can actually, on purpose, pick a player here. Let's see. 2 tries to pick Zach Moss. Can I do it? Did I get him? All right. All right. So I picked Zach Moss on purpose, and yeah, I don't know. I'd kind of like to get Odunze out of the flex. I guess I'll just put Moss there and hope that's a winning formula. But yeah, admittedly, I don't know what to do with Odunze since I have more. It's not as if so I don't really want to be starting on purpose 2 Bears receivers in a given week. But I mean, if God forbid Keenan Allen were to miss any time, or if it turns out he steps on the field and he just doesn't have anything left, then maybe I'll be glad that I accidentally took Odunze there. I don't know, but I do love Odunze. I think he's total monster, and in Dynasty, for instance, I have zero concerns with Odunze. But Keenan Allen was playing at a really high level last year, and as much as I think Caleb Williams is going to be really good, it's asking a lot of a rookie to be pushing for 4,000 passing yards. It's pretty much just guys like Herbert that get that done. So not fair exactly to expect it, but I suppose I will hope, especially now. But let's see. Trey Benson, Devin Singletary, Xavier Worthy finally went off the board with the 5th pick in the 9th round. Definitely nothing wrong with that. I mean, I was saying I wasn't going to pick them, but that's mostly because it's full point PPR and I'm a bit of a Marquise Brown truther. So, yeah, sorry you guys have to listen to me so much. I should have bothered John. I should just call him right now. Let's see if I can get him on here for a minute. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. And this is not a basement. It's the first floor, but it's just tuned in. There's no viable lighting in this room. So with the sun being down, this is how I live, and I'm grateful that somebody out there is keeping me company, so I'm not literally broadcasting this to nobody. But Blake Corum went after Trey Benson, so those are 2 rookies at running back, and I like both of them. I think Corum has a little bit more, maybe call like play calling versatility. Like Benson might be the kind of guy who's a little bit explosiveness dependent, but he sure does seem explosive, so that should work fine. But yeah, I mean the Corum deal with Kyren Williams, it's just whatever Kyren Williams has going for him, so does Corum and more, because Corum's aesthetically very similar. They're both short, of course, and it seems McVay made a point to target short guys. It seems like he really believes there's something to hiding that running back behind, the interior of the offensive line. And maybe he's right, because it sure worked last year for Kyren Williams, but anything Kyren can do, Corum can do better. And that's just a fact of being, 10 pounds heavier and 0.1 or 0.15 seconds faster in the 40-yard dash. So, Corum's production at Michigan is quite a bit better than Kyren's production also at Notre Dame. Good as Kyren's was, and it totally fine, but just doesn't have the tools. Corum doesn't have great tools, great himself, but he does have more without a doubt at all. I actually think Tyler Lockett with the last pick of the 9th round for Team 1, that was a nice pick. Curtis Samuel for Team 2 before that as well. But Tyler Lockett, I mean, John and me were talking about Tyler Lockett in the last podcast and how Tyler Lockett was hurt pretty much all last year, and Geno Smith's struggles were, of course, part of the problem, part of the factor of Lockett's yards per target falling off too. But the target volume was as good as ever, and the catch rate was fine. I don't know if Lockett stays healthy this year. I think I'll probably be wishing I took him over Odunze, but which again I didn't. I'm just stupid that wasn't even intentional. But I also still have to put Lockett ahead of Smith and Jigba, who went the pick after mine, and I understand why people are really high on Smith and Jigba. He still has a totally good prospect profile, but Lockett already has shown how to do it, and he didn't actually fall off at all last year. He just played hurt, and he didn't even have to. He could have just sat out, and his yards per target wouldn't have suffered as much for it. So Chase Brown was the second pick of the second round. I took Moss in the 10th round, Zach Moss, and not an inspired pick for me. All of my last 4 picks, 5, 6 actually have been pretty uninspired, but Moss is supposed to start for the Bengals, and I personally expect him to be like 55-45 with Chase Brown as opposed to 60-40 or 75 or whatever it is that people expect from Moss. But I'm only that's interesting. I'm only banking on Moss as a flex play until James Conner gets hurt anyway. So I wasn't really expecting to be playing Moss and Brown at the same time, and Brown's too expensive to be a handcuff really. But I do believe in Chase Brown. I think he's a totally good player. The pick that shocked me, it's crazy that this is that I'm, of all people, the one shocked to see this. J.K. Dobbins going in the 10th round. I still am a unrepentant J.K. Dobbins truther. I believe he's a top 10 talent at running back in the NFL. He may be cursed, I don't know, but I still think he's a top 10 talent at running back. So with that said, I mean, we can't even get anybody to pick Dobbins over Kamani Vidal most of the time. So Dobbins going in the 10th round, definitely a bit of a shocker, but I hope it pays off because Dobbins deserves some good luck, and he's definitely really talented. Unlike Brian Robinson, the Team 7 selection in the 10th round here. I am not joking, by the way, about Chris Robinson finishing the year as the starting running back for Washington. That is going to happen. You can just assume that. So 2 picks here till I'm back up, and I can panic again for a minute before accidentally picking some player. Let's see. Josh Downs just went. These are some really uninspiring receiver options left. I can't tell if I should just say to hell with it and kind of just pile up running backs. I do got to say, actually, no, I'm going receiver here. Maybe I shouldn't actually. I should go running back. Running back is quite thin as well, of course. I have 3 already, but how much will that get me in? The running backs are going to go. I think that a lot of people are going to stock up running backs on their bench, especially with this draft being so early. Maybe I should try to stay ahead of that a little bit. Yeah, I should probably do that. Okay, there is a receiver that I'm targeting, but he's quite a bit lower in the ADP, so I'm going to take Charbonnet right now. I'll try to take Charbonnet. Okay, I did it. I managed to. Again, 2 rounds in a row, I have picked the player that I meant to pick. And that's good. So, okay, we got 5 more picks here. And then my 11th round selection is up. Can't believe you guys are watching this. It's like is this even visible? At least you got the draft board. You can see that. But still waiting on the next selection. That's team 11 here. They got 3 running backs, a whole lot of receivers, but no tight ends. And they go more running back, taking Ezekiel Elliott. So, yeah, I guess if you could have told me that Elliott would go the pick after me, I would have felt a little more sure about taking Charbonnet. So we'll see. It's not like exactly I want to see Okay, yeah, the running back run is, I think, getting going here. Kendre Miller, really interesting sleeper, particularly if something happens with Kamara, if they were to somehow move him from New Orleans. I'm on the clock again. Let's see if I can make it 3 rounds picking the player that I mean to. Okay, so there's a pick that I want to make, but this player is still a lot lower in the ADP. anyone who knows what anyone who's heard John and me probably could have an idea of what receiver I'm talking about. But he's way far down in the ADP still. So I'm going to go with a different truther pick for now. Arguably an even more belligerent one, but Chuba Hubbard. There we go. That'll work. Maybe it won't. But all right, so Jared Goff went after Chuba Hubbard, whatever. For those who might be wondering what's wrong with me, specifically about the Hubbard pick anyway, I just think that the Panthers are going to need to run the ball a lot this year. I think they're going to need to go low tempo, run basically as much as they can to give Bryce Young a lot of shelter. And Jonathan Brooks will be starting no later than 2025 for the Panthers. And, Brooks should finish the season a lot better than he starts it as he works back from that November 11th ACL tear. But Chuba Hubbard put in a lot of good reps last year, and he was really grinding it out between the tackles, specifically, the high collision, like tough yardage kind of carries. They were putting that on him, and he was doing really well. So Hubbard, he also was a really productive player at Oklahoma State. He had such a weird career ending. He was known as a track guy out of Canada, and he sure looked like it that one year when he ran for 2,100, 2,300 yards or whatever. And then he had that weird ankle injury. He kind of just left Oklahoma State after or whatever, had the bad terms with Gundy and everything. And then he only ran something like a 4.5 240 at the I don't remember if it was it must have been a pro day or something like that. But so he wasn't fast at all at his pro day testing. But if Hubbard can somehow just be the player that he was, Team 5 has taken Josh Palmer, who I was thinking about taking at the very last pick. His Palmer's ADP was listed as something like 160, so I thought I could get away with waiting until 142. That was not the case. So no Josh Palmer for me. But I don't know. I'm okay with the Hubbard pick. I'm not going to be exactly looking for reasons to bench guys like Zay Flowers. So that might hurt, though. I do think as much as Ladd McConkey is the real deal, in my opinion, I think Palmer probably going to catch something like 80 passes this year. I don't know, maybe even more than that. So full point PPR and NFFC, guy like Palmer, I think, will be a really good flex play most of the year, maybe all the year. But nonetheless, no fair. It's said 160. I should have been able to get him at a nicer price for me. But so if I'm not looking at Palmer, I guess I got to really figure out if I even want to play ball with some of these receivers left. There's a guy like Darnell Mooney might get a good number of targets in Atlanta, but it's like these receivers like Quentin Johnston and Adonai Mitchell, no way. Even Mike Williams, who I like him. I hope his recovery is going well. Hope Aaron Rodgers comes back or whatever. But I don't know. I just can't see. I feel like Mike Williams might be a little better outside of full point PPR just because I expect Garrett Wilson. I hope Garrett Wilson, my first round pick, kind of hogs the ball there anyway. So there goes Adonai Mitchell. I was just kind of talking bad about him. I think he's a totally fine, real life prospect and in Dynasty too. But Adonai Mitchell, I would be shocked if he catches like 50 passes this year for the Colts because the Colts are not going to throw the ball that much. Alec Pierce is not just going to be a healthy scratch because Mitchell's there. I mean, Pierce is still a totally decent prospect. Josh Downs obviously isn't going to completely disappear. Michael Pittman's target share is not negotiable. Jelani Woods, I think, is going to take a bigger share at tight end than Kylan Granson did last year. So to me, Mitchell is kind of like, I could see Mitchell finishing the year with like 25 catches, something like that. So I guess if Pittman were to miss time, or if I'm wrong about Richardson not throwing the ball that much, then maybe Mitchell goes up. But to me, he's more of a long-term asset. Like I, for instance, would have taken Jerry Jeudy, even though Deshaun Watson's arm seems completely obliterated. I mean, Jerry Jeudy draws targets. We know that. So full point PPR, I think someone like Jeudy makes a lot more sense than most of the rookies this year at receiver. But Dalton Schultz, the first pick of the 12th round at tight end for Team 1. He will be backing up Travis Kelce. Definitely a very good tight end, too. I can't tell if I should have to think about tight end, too. It's like if McBride gets hurt, I'm kind of just going to throw a big fit and, assume the season's over anyway. TJ Hawkinson, 12th, second pick of the 12th round. Let's see. So yeah, I guess this is when I got to start thinking about getting my backup tight end if I'm gonna get one. I still feel like I should just start, just spamming the bench with running backs. Antonio Gibson off the board, so that's one less viable option. Ramondre clearly deserving of his contract extension, and with it, Antonio Gibson will not be forcing any sort of like even split there, but still think Gibson had a pretty raw deal in Washington. It was not his fault, and obviously Brian Robinson was a downgrade, so the playing time was not about merit. There goes Jerry Jeudy, Team 4. I think that was a nice value for them. I think Jerry Jeudy going to draw a lot of targets, and even like 6 catches for 46 yards can kind of save your bacon some weeks. Team 6, they're on the clock here. Yeah, I don't know where they're going to go. Tight end, maybe? They took Ferguson as their tight end 1 back in the 8th round. Team 5 taking Ricky Pearsall is pretty interesting. I mean, if Brandon Ayuk gets traded, I'm going to wish I took Pearsall in like the 8th. But I think Pearsall is a good prospect, admittedly. If somehow the 49ers keep both Ayuk and Debo this year, then I don't know how Pearsall is getting even like 25 snaps a game. But he's ready if they do have the snaps for him. I better get ready for my next pick in 2 picks. And right now I'm not. I don't know what I'm going to do here. Crap. Picking a backup tight end just feels like doing chores or something. I don't like doing chores. Let's see. All right. I'm going to take Ray Davis, I think, because Marshawn Lloyd went off the board at the 7th pick of this round. I don't think like Ray Davis is a killer or anything, but I think he's a totally solid, 50 grade type. And I think crucially for Buffalo, Ray Davis can run a little bit between the tackles, whereas I don't think James Cook can do it at all. I think if they send Cook into the part of the defense that Davis does so well, it won't be good for him. So Jalen Wright went right after Davis. I was thinking about Wright a little bit. Davis's pass catching background also helped tilt it there. I don't know if Wright's much of a pass catcher in the NFL. Something to think about though, for sure. So yeah, this is interesting. I feel like the running backs are going to keep going pretty steady here. Although I thought that last round and it was pretty even in the subsequent round. But I almost thought about taking Algier at that Davis pick. So I probably would have been looking at Algier at the 13th round if he had made it. Now he will not. And yeah, running back is looking kind of crappy. What should I do? I could use a little receiver depth yet. And in the 13th round, I'm going to take Gabe Davis. And I did it. Nice. So, yeah, I'm not expecting Davis to catch 100 passes or anything with the Jaguars, but I do think he's going to run at a lower depth than he did in Buffalo. Buffalo is basically trying to use Gabe Davis the same way that they used to use John Brown, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think it was pretty obviously a big part of why Davis drew targets so irregularly in Buffalo, because he is too slow to get open at the depths that they were tasking him with running his routes. So I could be wrong, of course, but I think particularly with Jacksonville having Brian Thomas, I mean, Brian Thomas is exactly the kind of player that Buffalo should have had in the Gabe Davis role. So it would be particularly crazy to me if the Jaguars signed Gabe Davis from Buffalo, where he was struggling, use him the same way Buffalo did, and then have Brian Thomas do, I don't know, running in the intermediate. He already showed he couldn't do that at LSU. So I think Brian Thomas is going to get those long routes, which suit him very well. And I think it clears up room for Gabe Davis to be used more like UCF used him, which was to say more so in the intermediate. But Team 6, who commendably and courageously took J.K. Dobbins in round 10, they tied up the other end there by taking Kamani Vidal in the 13th round. So risky strategy there, but worked out and should pay off quite a bit because, particularly if Gus Edwards misses time, but either Dobbins or Vidal, one of those two, or maybe a committee to some extent, but one of those two has to take pretty much all the passing down snaps with the Chargers, because I'm a Gus Edwards fan, but that's just not his game. He's almost like a different position than the one that the Chargers are going to use Dobbins and Vidal. So Demario Douglas just went. I was hoping he'd make it back to me, so that's kind of a bummer. Definitely like Demario Douglas, and early reports with the Patriots seem kind of promising, actually. It seems like Gerard Mayo might really be, this kind of guy who can just sort of jumpstart the whole scene for them, get everybody bought in again. And Van Pelt, maybe he has to be an upgrade over Belichick and Matt Patricia and all those idiots, but Van Pelt might actually be pretty good. So if Drake May or Jacoby Brissett can play well this year, Demario Douglas could catch, I don't know, like 70 passes, something like that, maybe more. I think in a different offense, Douglas could be like an 80, 90 catch player, but yeah, probably not in New England. Probably not this year anyway. In New England.
Yo, Mario.
Yeah, what's up? Oh, John. Hey, man. I actually did not call John. He's just graciously stopping by here. So yeah, John, I accidentally took Roma Dunze back in the 8th round, but that's not that bad, right? I only missed one pick.
No, I think he goes higher than that in half point PPR formats. So I think getting him in the 8th, Keenan Allen's not the definition of durability necessarily. And, right. DJ Moore, who you already have, is, that's going to be the alpha of that offense. But I think having Odunze, I think as the season progresses, especially, there's a real chance that he ends up, slotting in as that number 2 option for Caleb Williams. Obviously, we think that, this is going to be the best Bears passing offense ever. And it's kind of a low bar to clear. But I think getting those 2 pieces is how I'd go about it too. So I like it.
Nice. Yeah, thank you for the reassuring words. I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I start 2 Bears receivers. I also took DJ Moore, but yeah, it's got to the tide has to turn sometime, right? It's been like 60 years. This is the time to belligerently buy Bears receivers, I think.
I think so too.
Redraft team. But
you got a good starting 3.
What's
first 3. Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers to start you out, and then
I think I was kind of a little what would you call it? Maybe reeling is even a fair word, but I wasn't totally blitzed by that 4th, 5th round range, but I had to do a little thinking there because I don't usually take McBride or Flowers, and in like best ball drafts to this point I don't, but with the PPR, with the having to start guys every week detail, at the very least there really is some real like reassurance in knowing like Flowers, my wide receiver 3, should be catching like 85 passes. My tight end should catch like 85 passes or whatever. So they don't even need to get that. They don't even need like touchdowns really, and they shouldn't be killing me too much in theory as long as they go catching those passes.
I've been doing some thinking on the Cardinals and McBride in particular, and this may be wishful thinking to the contrary. And I myself have kind of come around to the idea of taking Marvin Harrison where he goes, late first, early second type of guy. But it's like, what if he's not just the immediate target monster, like all the way through, I think that there is like that chance, especially like if Harrison were to start out slow. And I'm not saying there's like a super high probability of this, but at the same time, like there's a chance that like the McBride drop off is a little bit oversold. And I know that, where you took him in the fifth in this league, like that's still a relatively expensive pick, especially for a tight end. But I don't know. Like what if Harrison's like a slow starter,
Yeah, it was it was also a little easier to take McBride because I felt like I had shored up a little bit anyway, running back and receiver already. So I was like, hell, I'm kind of indifferent about those running backs, receivers. Maybe I should just take McBride here. Stop having to think so hard. Speaking of thinking hard, I think I'm going to take Isaac Guerrero in the 14th round because the running backs, they are going quick. And we, for instance, just saw Tyrone Tracy go off the board in the middle of the 14th and then Bucky Irving. So I have no delusions about Guerrero even maybe being active if Eli Mitchell is healthy, but I just think Guerrero is such an obvious like Shanahan back. Mike Shanahan too would have took this guy and got like 1,600 yards for only 1 year. He would get 1,600 yards out of Guerrero one season, and then replace him with some other 5th round pick the next year. But he would have that 1 year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Guerrendo's a guy that we were a little bit on the trail like before the combine, and it helped him get drafted. It didn't help him get drafted high necessarily. I think they looked at the college production, the college film, and it's like, well, he's not unbelievable, but there's a lot of tools there, and
you put him in a good system, and he can probably rake because it's just he's just so dang fast.
He's fast. He's a big dude like that. That's an unpleasant entity to be tackling when Guerrero gets up to full speed. So he really does kind of like have that sort of trump card, and it will be interesting to see if we both like Mitchell, but and it's obviously hard to get anything traction wise after McCaffrey as long as McCaffrey's good to go for this entire season. But I don't think it's completely impossible. And I think, like you said, you're kind of reading the room here, and it's the running back pool it's getting shallow in a hurry. I mean, no one likes taking Dameon Pierce. Dameon Pierce is off the board, no one
likes taking Isaac Guerrero either in the 14th, but it's just, the market is just possessing us.
And so we must. Where do you find your team might have a weak point, if any?
I mean, it could be kind of all of them. It's hard to feel like you have any like strong spots in a league like this. In an NFFC, sharp rooms, you're kind of by the skin of your teeth, even when it works out, because it's just, it's not your hometown league. But I know I'm thin at like receiver depth. Or I don't know, maybe I'm not. Odunze, Davis, they might be okay, but I don't know. It's uninspiring. And actually, Kyler Murray might be a weak quarterback one in this format. 6 points per passing touchdown. So it's not quite as much of a clincher to have a quarterback who runs in this format, because Kirk Cousins just went second pick in the 15th round. He could throw like, I don't know, 10 more touchdowns than Kyler Murray and just pass him up right there. So maybe Kyler is my weak spot. I kind of took him just out of the fear of what might be left by the time my next pick came up. I was saying on the broadcast, I think I'm going to take Dak, and then he went the pick before. So I was like, oh, I guess I don't know who I'm going to pick now. This pick is a tough one. Man, I think I got enough running back tickets that I should probably get a little more padding at receiver. And Darnell Mooney, down year last year, but he drew an awfully good number of targets before that in Chicago, and he was a really good player at Tulane. The Falcons are paying Mooney quite a bit as well, so hopefully Gabe Davis, Darnell Mooney can be the backups that I need them to be behind Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Zay Flowers.
I've found that both those guys, both Davis and Darnell Mooney, are both kind of undervalued. Like in other formats, like in this range, I've gotten more like Jermaine Burton, I would say, than Darnell Mooney or Gabe Davis. But I definitely like the case for both of them. I think Mooney in particular, like there's no real discourse about him, but as far as like true deep threats in that Atlanta offense, like he profiles the best at getting downfield. So if that ends up being a staple of that Falcons offense as much as it can be, he's the one that benefits from that.
Yeah, and they don't really have. It's like Rondale Moore is the target competition for Mooney. I don't know if we've seen, other than that one busted coverage his rookie year. It's like I can't remember Rondale Moore catching a pass further than 8 yards downfield. So it's going to be the Kyle Pitts show certainly, but yeah, I mean they're paying Mooney almost as much as a guy like Christian Kirk is getting paid, So it's like at the very least they might want to make that money spent look a little better. John, do you think I should take a backup quarterback? I can't tell if I should just say to hell with it and take another running back just in case training camp injuries.
Well, I will point out, do with this information what you will, but you've got 3 receivers with Week 12 buys. If there's any other receiver that's kind of on your radar, I might lean that way. But
that's a good call. I'm all in on the Bears passing game for Week 12. What could go wrong? Yeah. All right. So realistically, I got 5 picks left. I might want to take 2 I don't know. I was thinking maybe I should try to get like a kind of like a strong, reliable defense, and then another defense that's just for hunting week 1 offenses. So like, I don't know, the Chargers, they're playing the Raiders. I don't know. Is that worth a draft pick? They still have Bosa and Mac. Maybe it is. I don't know.
Right.
But you're right. I should be loading the Week 12 schedule right now and just trying to find some receiver on the board who has like a prayer of going against some pushover defense. But yeah, let's see. How much time? What do I got here? I got.
Do you like Tez Walker at all in this format, or do you think not enough targets?
Well, at the very least, Bateman's on the board still, and in PPR, that's definitely a Bateman one for me. But we'll see. Maybe if Bateman's still on the board, I would take him. But certainly an uninspired Week 12 pick for me there. But I guess that's what I get for waiting this long to address it. Let's see.
Fant would have been a nice addition too, at the tight end spot. I was a little surprised to see that he was still hanging around. I do like.
Yeah, Fant I think everybody's written him off, but both Disley and Parkinson are gone now. So Fant could be like, I don't know, he could get like 800 yards receiving this year. One more pick for me. Okay, so Hunter Henry just went. Then there's one more pick. I still don't really have any idea what I'm going to do here. I guess I should try to figure that out a little. See, Pittsburgh defense just went. Oh, maybe I should think about defense.
Yeah, good. You think about it. I will make a note that you have Kyler Murray. I'm looking at the futures page or the player futures page
over
on RotoWire.com. And I'm surprised to see how low some of these posted touchdown totals are. Like, you have the higher ones up, but other than Mahomes, no one's really reliably getting projected for, or at least having a number hung over 30 passing touchdowns. And in Kyler Murray's case, it's 20.5 at both FanDuel and BetMGM with even, juice on either side. And actually at Bet Rivers, if you have an account there, it's 18.5. So it's interesting to me that it's that low. I almost feel like that's like the books being concerned that Murray misses time. But I think if he plays the full season or even misses one game, then the over is absolutely in play there for Murray.
Yeah, he's like I was saying before, I'm a little concerned the passing production might be a little lower, if only because of how good of a runner he is. But I can't wait to see that Cardinals offense this year. It's just the first time. By the way, I took DJ Chark. His Week 12 matchup is horrible. It's the Ravens, but I was like, I don't know what to do. None of the defenses were inspiring me a great deal exactly.
Yeah, no one wants to force a defense. So best to just keep filling out that depth for week 12. Getting close to playoff time. When I jumped on, you were talking about Demario Douglas.
Yeah.
What I have a lot of exposure to him. I haven't gotten quite as much lately, but I feel like he's been kind of like a hidden. Like this guy could be the wide receiver one in his offense, and he's not really getting drafted like that in most instances. And I think that, it's fair to say that the Patriots aren't the sexy offense that you want to get a ton of exposure to. But Douglas, year 2, I thought what he did last year is pretty promising, and now he's got his legs under him. I don't know. I think I'm into it this year.
Yeah, I thought Douglas, he was one of those guys that I overlooked early in the draft season, mostly because he was, tiny Liberty guy. And when I looked at Liberty's production, I didn't see something obvious enough that I would take a close look at the 5'8", 170 guy. And so I was expecting to not care at all. But then Douglas tested really well at the combine, put up really good numbers, great numbers really across the board. And I took a little bit closer of a look at his Liberty production at that point, so I should have just seen this the first time, I guess. But when I looked a second time at Douglas's numbers at Liberty, I noticed, it was better than I thought the first time. He was taking on good share percentages and giving really high returns for that usage share. And, for me, that production usually indicates skill. The athletic testing indicated the tools. It was hard to see what was so wrong with him at that point. But, yeah, I think, let me see. I got to figure out what the hell I'm going to do. So, sorry, back up a little bit. I took the Dallas kicker because I was like, I don't really know what to do at defense or anything else. And, they have the best kicker ever. I can't remember his name, but he's the best kicker ever. And I got him now. But back to Douglas a little bit. I thought if his reports in training camp have been really great. First of all, OTAs, have been really great. And his production his rookie year was very good. There was a little bit kind of weird numbers in there. The no touchdowns. It was not his fault, clearly. But touchdown production is a downward pressure on yards per target. So, if he had scored 5 touchdowns, would his yards per target have looked so good? Maybe not. And he had like a 40-yard catch at and like a garbage time play at the end of a half. I was going to say against the Lions, maybe. It was like a play that the defense was just kind of making sure he didn't, do a lateral touchdown kind of thing. And he got a big chunk of yardage that would have lowered his yards per target a little bit, but he still was way above the team baseline. And I don't know, when you watch Douglas play, he looks pretty good. So particularly if Drake May can take the starting role there, the New England passing game could open up enough for a guy like Douglas to really have some room. And that's the struggle right now is like, can an offense that's sort of hibernating or at risk of hibernating clear out enough space for him? Or are they going to sort of be in big personnel all the time and kind of make it hard for him to get much runway to work with? But by the sound of things at the OTAs, it's more like Douglas has been so good that he's sort of compelling the Patriots to find usage for him.
Yeah, I think they need to, and I'm not huge. I think it's a signal from the Patriots that they drafted 2 receivers. I don't really like either of them though. So I
guess Polk's doing pretty good. Okay. It sounds like Juju Smith-Schuster's kind of on the way out. Maybe Thornton too. So I think you're going to see Polk at one outside spot. Douglas in the slot primarily, of course. The weird part is Kendrick Bourne. I think he's coming back from the ACL and they paid him a decent amount, but I'm not convinced he really comes back this year. I think that might be kind of like a Tim Patrick not that he'll get hurt again like Tim Patrick, but just like this guy is kind of a mascot more than he is a player that they're really building the offense on. It's just like he's an example setter kind of guy. And Kendrick Bourne was running a 4.7 out of Eastern Washington. Now he's 6-7 years older, and he's coming back from an ACL that happened in season. I don't know, but I think Polk will get the opportunity. But other than Polk and Douglas, it's kind of hard to see what they have to build with there.
So changing lanes a little bit, but I see that Khalil Herbert went recently. I feel like there's been chatter that he's like kind of the A1 like training camp trade candidate that could end up getting moved by the Bears somewhere, either that feels like it's weak at the running back spot, or if they unfortunately take on an injury at running back. So if you're drafting Herbert, is it he's not going to be on the Bears basis, or do you think that if he opens the season in Chicago, there's still enough there for him to actually do something for fantasy?
I guess you'd ideally see him moved, but particularly drafting this early in the offseason, I don't know if you'd call it the good silver lining or whatever, is like you don't really need an answer to the question to justify taking him, because there's so much that can change between now and then. And he's definitely a fringe guy. It's like Herbert can give you plus like above average efficiency returns as a runner up to a certain point. Like he's not a workhorse runner, but off the bench he can give you like 12 carries for 80 yards. Those kinds of games he was doing when David Montgomery was still there. So if some team has a role like that set aside, then I don't know, maybe Dallas could have a use for him or something like that. I don't know, maybe even like a team like the Colts, if they're not confident in Trey Sermon and Evan Hull or whatever. I don't really know. But it seems like Herbert's a little too good of a runner to just sort of be scratched,
I think so too. And I don't know. I wish things were better with Bucky Irving, or I wish that the Bucs just didn't take him, because I think we're kind of on the same page where Rachaad White is. I don't know. He works in PPR formats, but I don't know if that's going to be forever. And I don't think he's that great of a runner. So I feel like Herbert would be like a nice complementary piece there, but they're not going to really test that out because they just spent a draft pick on Bucky Irving. But that would have been like a really nice potential landing spot, I feel like. Yeah,
that's true. So yeah, I guess we covered the draft started moving a little faster these last like 6 rounds or something. Yeah, thanks a lot for showing up, John. You saved these poor people who were for some reason tuned in from just seeing me in my, like I'm being punished in this closet here and broadcasting this thing and just talking to myself. But you helped change at least one of those things. And
I kind of Leroy Jenkins to my way in here, but.
Did you like tune in and you're like, oh my God, he's drowning, I gotta get in there?
No, it was totally just serendipitous. Like I was out for a walk, beautiful 100-degree evening here in Atlanta.
Oh, you saw the signal in the sky.
Yeah, I caught the part where you're like, I should have called. I wonder if John's around, and I was like, I'm gonna put some pep in my step, and then I wandered on home and got myself plugged into the computer, and here we are.
Well, yeah, thanks, man. I guess final thoughts here. I never did get that second quarterback. I don't know if I am. Aaron Rodgers is still there. That's kind of funny, right? I could just like, haha, I'm picking Aaron Rodgers. I'm pairing him with Garrett Wilson is what I'm doing. Right. These last running backs, I'm not really. Maybe Pirine. I don't know.
I think you're set at running back. I got.
Yeah, I got like 9 of them.
I got enough there.
I've picked all the running backs. So that's disappointing. I wanted more. Yeah, it's like, even a guy like Darius Slayton, who I usually like, it's like in full point PPR, a little less so. Yeah, these receivers. I could take Bo Melton. That's kind of a good bit. What else?
Yeah, that's the brand.
It's definitely the brand. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think there's anything at tight end, really. I could take another kicker or defense, maybe. I guess I probably should. So I took the Chargers a couple rounds back just because they're playing the Raiders in week 1, but then they got to play the oh no, they play the okay, I'm not picking another defense. I got 2 weeks covered. They got the Raiders and Panthers. Never again am I worrying about defense now. So maybe I should take another running back, John. What do you think? Or maybe I should take a quarterback. I could take Bo Nix. That'd be kind of funny. What about
I don't hate the Knicks pick.
So the thing is, there's guys like Russell Wilson and Rodgers, and I just can't.
Rodgers in this format, unfortunately, is probably this smart pick.
Yeah, you're right.
Garrett Wilson.
I mean, if his if that crack smoking or whatever he's doing works out, he could throw 30 touchdowns pretty easily. So, yeah, 238. We'll see if he makes it there. He might not. Someone else might snatch my 20th round steal from me. But yeah, thanks so much for everybody who tuned into this. I don't know what's wrong with you, but your perseverance paid off because you got John to eventually the star arrived. And
we love the viewers. We love them. And sheesh, I guess I'll do an advanced plug like 2 months in advance.
Yeah, plug everything. I have nothing to say.
I'll be doing this on August 21st at 8 o'clock to beat John McKechnie. So
Jim Coventry's doing one a week from today, I think.
Nice. Okay, so that'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll be having these on RotoWire, on our YouTube, on our streams, pretty much all summer. There will be a bunch of us doing these drafts and streaming them. So mine will be a bit later, but Jim will kind of bridge the gap into the 4th of July lull, and then training camp will start soon. And then, then it'll really kind of be on. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff coming up on the RotoWire football YouTube.
Absolutely. And yeah, we got a podcast in a few days, of course, too. But yeah, thanks a lot, John. I don't know how to should I I'm probably just going to turn this off immediately when I make that last pick here. So if anyone's hanging around for that, we'll get there. I don't know why you'd wait to see that, but you've hung with us this long. It would be betrayal to unplug the broadcast right before the 238th pick.
I'm hanging into 238. I gotta see what happens.
Yeah. Did someone take Rodgers yet? No, Rodgers is still there. They've really they think he's not coming back. Do they think he's going to be the vice president? Is that why they're not picking him?
This room is not only sharp football minds, but they also know what's going on better than anyone else.
We are gambling on geopolitics in this room. Yes. we bet on we speculate on regimes, all that stuff. A version of fantasy sports where it's just you pick different contractors that get no bid contracts from the government and stuff, and the one that gets the deal, your team wins.
Yeah. I'm putting it all in on. I'm taking the real estate sector in my next one. I'm doing Cortland BlackRock stack.
Yeah, that's a good one. You're gonna have to pick them early. You might reach a little.
An expensive stack, yeah.
So
Malik Washington, we got the Packers kicker. I don't know. We were not big Malik Washington guys, right?
I'm not really, but I mean, he should stick around a while. He shouldn't go to Canada or anything. But it is a little tough to see. All right, here it is, guys. If I am reading this draft room correctly, Aaron Rodgers is on the board, and apparently I'm going to take him to end my draft here. And with that, it is official. So, yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I'm going to unplug this thing, turn on the lights in my house, maybe, and I guess feed my dog or something. John, thanks a lot for coming on, man.
You know what, dude? I will catch you on Thursday, listeners and viewers. Thursday at 3 o'clock Eastern, RotoWire NFL podcast with these two chuckleheads. So we'll see you there. Mario, great draft, and I'll catch you offline.
Thanks to NFFC guys, Greg and Tom. helping me, and Alan Soslowski helping me put all this together. Anyone who's listened to me before knows I can't do any of this myself, and I did not. So, all right. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.